EURUSD is pushing in towards the highs exactly as we anticipated, and the entire team and community have been making money on this, including myself. September together with August has been pretty much my best trading months of the entire year, maybe of my entire career, where I've done over 6 figures in profits, and I'm going to be creating a lot of YouTube video breakdowns on this, including full proof of all of those withdrawals and everything, so don't worry. But for the rest, guys, what can I say? Not only myself, but the entire team has been profiting, as you can see here. Janče closed out this position on EURUSD buys for 5% on his funded account. Obviously, myself been calling the dollar shorts together with the USDCAD shorts, for example, inside the Discord. So if you're not in there, make sure to click on the link in the description of this video. And furthermore, the entire team has been milking. So just to show what you're missing if you're not yet inside Discord, so make sure to join through the link in the description. My goal is just purely to help you guys get as far in your trading career as possible. There's so much BS out there on the internet, and through this daily market outlook, I'm just trying to share the real perspective of trading together with you guys, and that is here. GBPUSD sell, GBPUSD buys, obviously bringing good profits. USDCHF sells, which I talked about as well inside Discord, but obviously here also on stream for quite a few days, and then as well here one of my accounts ready for withdrawal. But I've also been copying this on to prop firm challenges, and now also passing quite a few challenges as well yesterday. Now, EURUSD, what has been happening? We've been continuously pushing in towards the upside together with the overall dollar downside as we anticipated in yesterday's market outlook, but also pretty much last week. Remember that dollar downside and EURUSD upside, we were calling it pretty much from the monthly open. Again, guys, that monthly open is literally a cheat code in trading, guys. That is what you always want to be looking for. Now, I'm going to break this chart down for you guys, nice, clean, and easy, the way you like. Now, first of all, again, the daily time frame. What can we see? Well, we can see that the overall daily time frame is bullish, right? So are we going to try and fight that momentum? No, not really. We can see that the overall swing is bullish in towards the highs. That doesn't really need any explaining. Then what we identify is the overall swing structure. So the swing structure is bullish from the overall low that we have here in towards the high that we have over there. And if we then draw in the premium versus discount tool, what you are going to be able to see here is that the market retraced into the 0.5 fib retracement level over here. Now, next to the fact that we have discount, that swing structure is bullish. What do we need? We need an area of liquidity. So how do I personally identify liquidity? Well, there are 3 ways pretty much to identify liquidity. I made a full video on that, so I won't go into it, but we look at little bumps in the road. So what we have is here the overall impulse, but in the impulse itself, there's a bump in the road. And that for me is a liquidity low. More specifically, that is this low over here, which I consider to be liquidity. Once that liquidity low is gets taken out, which some people call the internal low, we see the V-shaped reversal in towards the highs. Now, from that moment onwards, what we see is that bulls are in control. We can clearly see here, sell for the buy. That is pretty much what sustains the market and keeps pushing it up higher. Then again, over here, sell for the buy. You can clearly see that we never really closed below it, and that the market keeps on holding there and eventually pushes up higher out of that overall August range. Now then, once again, once we see some strong candle closes above, we can clearly see that again, this sell before the buy over here, and then you can refine it to this overall imbalance. That is then the overall demand zone that is in control, and again, pushes the market up higher towards the overall swing high, which is positioned over here. Now, for EURUSD, you just want to follow the momentum. So I'm expecting at minimum this high now to get taken out. So that means, or would mean, another 40 pip push in towards the upside. That is definitely what I'm looking to capitalize on. I wouldn't be looking for any shorts at all. I see people talking about shorts, but guys, really understand where are we trading within the markets, right? We had an impulsive phase here in towards the upside. Then what did we get? We got an overall pullback phase. I'll make that orange for you guys so that you really understand that is the pullback. Inside the pullback, yes, you can look for shorts, but once the higher time frame, let's say mission, and the mission is to trade towards liquidity, has been completed, you ultimately would expect that the next impulsive phase will just continue in towards the highs. So you pretty much just want to be looking for buys back up towards where? Well, towards the higher time frame narrative or towards the higher time frame mission, which is liquidity. So the mission of price is to move towards those liquidity points, and that is here what we're doing. We're just looking for this to trade up higher towards this overall liquidity high. So I wouldn't be looking for any shorts, just follow the overall momentum for now. And obviously this here is your sell for the buy, and that is where you pretty much just want to be looking for longs inside of this orange box for the rest of today, further in towards the upside. Now then you can obviously use like the opens indicator together with market structure. So I'll just make it nice and clean again here for you, because the chart is getting a little bit too colorful for my liking. And then what you're going to be able to see here is that from a 4-hour perspective, we had a break of structure up, then we had a break of structure down. So here, so that is then the moment, or the only moment you can pretty much look for shorts back in towards the downside. And then what we clearly see is that eventually we get a break of structure in towards the highs again, then again a break of structure in towards the highs again. And this here is then your overall swing low. And this is over here your overall swing high. And then we just copy what I did at the beginning of the video on the higher time frame, where the sub for the buy here is your demand zone. This here is your little bump in the road / liquidity aligned with the monthly open, and then draw in the premium versus discount tool. And then you clearly see that the market retraces into discount pricing / exactly the 0.5 fib. And from there we continue up higher. And now obviously we're at the 3-monthly level. We're above the break of structure line. So eventually you would expect a potential retracement before then eventually heading up higher. So the ultimate longs that you want to take, or the ultimate longing phase, is inside of this green zone. That is where you want to be getting into longs. So that was potentially from the monthly open, like a 90 pip range that you could have capitalized on. Well, at least I capitalized on it together with a lot of people inside the community, mainly through GU or USDCHF or USDCAD. So that's EURUSD. For now, just looking for further upside, another kind of like 40 pip push back up in towards this blue dotted line. But obviously I'm not going to be looking to aggressively get into longs because we're currently at the 3-monthly open, which is a natural area of resistance. And we're after the break of structure line. So my money has been made this week already on a Monday. Who can imagine that? But that is kind of like a breakdown of EURUSD. Then looking at the dollar index, we can clearly see that the dollar index followed through exactly as we wanted. Overall, the higher time frame narrative played out to absolute perfection. We can clearly see how beautifully the overall order flow held. The overall buy before the sell here, so buy up for the sell down. We come back in towards that zone, sell off again. Then again here, buy for the sell down, and then we had like this little intraday supply zone over here pushing the market down lower again. From where, guys? From the bloody monthly open. It's so beautiful. Look here at the 4-hour time frame. We do the same thing over and over again. Break of structure down. This is the overall impulse down. Here we have liquidity high, bump in the road. Here we have liquidity high, bump in the road. You wait for the bump in the road to get taken out, either one, and then you just wait for this change of characters to happen. Change of character happened here in towards the downside. We retraced into what? Monthly open, and then we sold off like a fucking brick. It is just magic, guys. It is absolutely magic. Looking at liquidity, looking at that, aligning with the monthly opens, and then just trading with the trend. That is how simple trading can be. The only thing that you need to understand is that most of the times you need to stick to one specific bias and not keep switching up. Today I'm going to look for buys. Today I'm going to look for sells. Today I'm going to look for buys. Today I'm going to look for sells. Like, the easiest way to trade is to trade, just simply said, with the overall trend, and then keep capitalizing on that movement. Don't one day look for longs, then the next day look for sells. In most of your situations, that's just really the easiest thing to do. Now, obviously, we've now come in towards a major liquidity low, which was our major target already for the entire week, or last week as well. We're now reaching that, so soon I'll be looking for potential pullback play, which could happen from this blue dotted line, for this 3-monthly level line, or from this line. Now, again, I said always try and trade in one direction. So the easiest trade is going to be eventually if we, for example, see a V-shaped reversal happen. We break fractal structure, break through that monthly level, and then this is the sell for the buy. And then we can start trading back up again to take out, for example, these descending highs. That is kind of like a potential trade, a very risky one, but I'm just giving you guys some potential ideas that could start to form in the near future. I'm just keeping in mind what the higher time frame looks like here on the monthly, with us coming into that third trend line touch on the higher time frame, and there potentially being a bounce somewhere in the near future, because we're seeing similar price action to what happened over here. So let's keep an eye on that. So that's pretty much what I have for the dollar. Then let's have a look at AUDUSD and the other positions. So AUDUSD has continued to push up higher. Again, I'm just looking for this to continue in towards the bump in the road, which is this blue dotted line over here. So let's just look for it to continue up higher with the overall momentum. Not really looking at anything else but further upside. And yeah, that's all I can really say. Just trade with momentum. Momentum up. So just look for the longs, not looking for shorts on that thing just yet. Then GBPUSD, that is also where money was made on buys. Again, absolute beautiful scenes. Called this already since last week, that we were looking for the overall high here to get taken out, and then we can look for potential shorts once one of those high gets taken out if we get bearish confirmation. So for now, for example, the overall fractal low is the low of this bearish candle over here, so I would only be looking for shorts if we now see a V-shaped reversal down and then something like this, where the buy before the sell then becomes your overall supply zone. Otherwise, just trade with the momentum, continue looking for further upside in towards the next overall swing high. For the rest, this trade doesn't really need any further explaining. I think the reason I was looking for a long was to take out the overall swing high and then trade with the direct momentum that we had here after what? After breaking the 4-hour high over here and then coming back down into the monthly open with this demand zone being over here. That eventually pushed the market up higher, and then obviously the dollar was aligning as well. So I'll do a full breakdown on it very, very soon. Don't worry, here on the channel. But for now, I'm looking for pretty much this blue dotted line over here to get hit, and then potentially look for shorts. Then we have NZDUSD. NZDUSD itself has remained bullish. Yeah, also as we expected. Obviously here demand is in control, so it doesn't make sense to look for any sells. Yes, we are bearish from a higher time frame perspective, right? So push down, pull back, push down, pull back, push down, pull back. And now we're in the pullback phase again, but you can see here that the internal trend remains bullish, so it doesn't make sense to look for shorts. Only longs make sense. And then, yeah, you could look for a sell if we break the overall green box, retest that, and then see bearish confirmation. That is the only sell that you can take. But otherwise, until then, just keep on looking for longs. And then we have, of course, USDCHF. What a position that was. What a position that was. I think, again, one of the best trades of the year on these USD pairs this last, let's say, week. What can I say? 4-hour fractal low break all the way back down. It kind of like gets boring just seeing it play out, but at the same time, it just makes me so bloody emotional and happy to see how beautifully these positions can play out. I've been calling it for so long, and then to see it just play out, it's just fantastic. And again, it's not for my ego, it's just really because I just love looking at this chart playing out so much. For me, this is just my hobby, and then being able to share this with you guys just makes me so, so happy and like a real feeling of fulfillment. So we can see here that the overall, let's say, immediate market structure was bearish again. We retrace in towards what? Well, in towards the monthly open, guys. The most juicy thing that there is in the world, together with this little bump in the road here getting taken out, break of structure, swing high, swing low, retracement happens towards the bump in the road, towards the monthly open, towards the 0.5 fib. And then, I mean, you get the 4-hour change of characters confirmation to sell, and then we just make a shit ton of money. Like, it's that simple. All you need to do is just stick to the same thing over and over again. So again, beautiful price action, and yeah, I mean, what can I say? The trade has played out. Congratulations if you were in. It just makes sense to continue falling, but at some point in time there will be a pullback. So just keep that in mind. And then we have USDJPY. This one has been a little bit uglier. Obviously, it moved down in line with the dollar index moving down, but in my opinion, USDCHF was a much cleaner position. But still, I know some of you made money on this supply zone that we had over here, which was much more clear on the 1-hour time frame, where again, you're kind of replicating what you just saw on the 4-hour, break of structure down, swing high, swing low, descending highs, liquidity, supply zone, sell-off, as we were also trading in premium of that overall swing leg. So you retrace into premium pricing and then you sell off. Yeah, what can I say? Nice setup again. And then USDCAD, I think also one of the most beautiful setups of the week. It's been moving like absolute rocket in towards the downside. Overall, it was obviously kind of like in a range here, as I mentioned, where we left equal lows behind. So what happens? We fake out on the range high over here, and then, as I mentioned, I want to trade it towards the range low before moving up higher potentially. And then you can see here that we have the supply zone over here. Now, this supply zone, this range, pushes market initially down lower, but then what happens? You see it's built on descending highs over here. So that's liquidity. Liquidity gets taken, and then it provides us with the change of character, retest supply, and then it just sells off. Again, clear as days. And then we have gold, and gold has continued to push up higher, pretty much as you kind of like wanted to see. Again, you can see it just liquidates the lows. So it liquidates kind of like here, early buyers, and then eventually it heads up higher. Yeah, so gold is obviously just kind of like on a bullish trend. Every single liquidation event is just another opportunity to go long. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, make sure to join the live stream here on YouTube this afternoon. And yeah, wish you all a fantastic day. If you want to trade alongside me together with the rest of the team, make sure to click on the link in the description of this video. It's the top link. And yeah, for the rest, I'm just here to support, guys. So make sure to leave a like if you watch this far of the video, and I hope you guys appreciate these market outlooks, because I just love doing them. And the thing I love most is if you guys learn from them and are able to make money through them. So thanks, guys, and speak soon.